Burma War. So let's study this Anglo-Burma War. So in this lesson, we are going to study about the first Burmese War, then the second Burmese War, and the third Burmese War. So first, let's see what was this Anglo-Burma War and why did it started. So the Anglo-Burma War, the conflict between Burma and British India was initiated by border clashes, and it was whipped by the expansionist urge. British, we know that they were always trying to expand their kingdom. So the British merchants cast avaricious glances on the forest resources of Burma and were keen to promote export of their manufactures among its people. They British merchants wanted the forest products from Burma, and they were keen to penetrate the Burmese market so that they can sell their goods in Burma. So the British authorities also wanted to check the spread of French commercial and political influence in Burma and the rest of Southeast Asia. So this was also one of the part of the Anglo-French rivalry, where the Burma was a victim of this Anglo-French rivalry. Through three successive wars, the independent kingdom of Burma was conquered by the British during the 19th century. Okay, so Burma and British India developed a common frontier at the close of the 18th century when both were expanding powers. So in the 18th century they developed a common frontier at the close of 18th century. Okay, so in 1822 the Burmese conquered Assam. The Burmese occupation of Arakan and Assam led to a continuous friction along the ill-defined border between Bengal and Burma. So because of this annexation of Assam by Burma, there were border clashes which were going on between these two nations. So the Burmese government pressed the British authorities to take action against the insurgents, that is Arakanese fugitives, and to hand them over to the Burmese authorities. So those who were conducting any crime, or those who were the insurgents actually from this Arakan area, they used to come to this British area and they used to hide there. So there were hideouts, and the Burmese government pressed the British authorities to take action against these insurgents who were operating from the British soil, that is the British Indian soil. But Britisher did not take any action against them. So the Burmese forces chasing the insurgents would often cross into Indian territory, and in 1823 clashes on the Chittagong-Arakan frontier came to a head over the possession of Shahpuri Island, which was first occupied by the Burmese and then by the British. So we see that a lot of border clashes were going on, and the possession of Shahpuri Island was also one of the bone of contention between the Burma and British Indian government. So the Burmese proposal for neutralization of the island was rejected by the British, and tension between the two began to mount. So for several decades, British Indian authorities had been trying to persuade the government of Burma to sign a commercial treaty with them and to exclude French traders from Burma. That means now the British Indian authorities, they were trying to persuade the Burmese authority to sign a treaty, that is the commercial treaty, and to exclude French traders from Burma. So they were trying to do this thing, but Burma was not accepting the treaty. So the British believed that the Burmese power should be broken as soon as possible, especially as they felt that British power was at the time far superior to that of Burmese. So they had this confidence that we can easily break down the Burmese power, and this Burmese power should be taken down immediately and should be broken down if we want to expand, or if we want to keep the French out of the trade in Burma. So the Burmese on their part did nothing to avoid war. So Britishers started to prepare for war, but the Burmese authorities, the Burmese government did not take any measure to avoid the war. So the Burmese rulers had been long isolated from the world and did not correctly assess the strength of the enemy. They were, uh, the Burmese government authorities, they miscalculated Britishers, and the war was officially declared on 24 February 1824. So this was the first Burmese war. You can see the image where the British army passing through the forest and trying to attack the Burma. So after an initial setback, the British forces drove the Burmese out of Assam, Kachchir, Manipur and Arakan, and they captured this territory. So the British expeditionary forces by sea occupied Rangoon in May 1824 and reached within 45 miles of the capital at Awa. So but Burmese resistance was tough and determined. Especially effective was the guerrilla warfare in the jungles, because we know the territory of Burma which is full of jungle. So the Burmese adopted the tactics of guerrilla warfare. So the rainy climate and virulent disease added to the cruelty of the war, because the climate was taking its toll, and a lot of soldiers who were fighting with the enemy, they were dying without fighting the enemy also, because of the disease which was there in the jungles and due to the rainy climate. So fever and dysentery killed more people than the war. So the war was proving extremely costly, financially as well as in terms of human lives. So thus the British who were winning the war as well as the Burmese who were losing it were glad to make peace, which came in February 1826 with the Treaty of Yandabo. So the Treaty of Yandabo was signed between the British and Burma, and in this way the first Burmese war ended. So by this treaty the British deprived Burma of most of its coastline and acquired a firm base in Burma for future expansion. So British got hold of the coastline, most of the coastline from the Burma. So here you can see the image, the Treaty of Yandabo being signed between the British and Burmese authorities. So the second Burmese war. So why did this second Burmese war happen? So if the first, it is said that if the first Burmese war was in part the result of border clashes, because we have seen that the first Burmese war actually was a result of the border clashes which was going on between Burma and the British forces. But the second Burmese war was the result of the British commercial good. It was the second Burmese war was actually the result of the British commercial greed. The second Burmese war, which broke out in 1852, was almost wholly the result of British commercial greed. The British wanted the market of Burma, they wanted to expand their trade in Burma, and they wanted to keep out the French of the Burmese trade. So British timber firms had begun to take interest in the timber resources of Upper Burma. We see that we know that there are a lot of forest resources in the Upper Burma region, and especially in the Burma region. So that's why at that time the British timber firms had a keen interest in the timber resources of the Upper Burma. So moreover, the large population of Burma appeared to the British to be a vast market for the sale of British cotton goods and other manufactures. So this was the whole and sole reason of Second Burmese War, the main reason behind that. So the British, already in occupation of Burma's two coastal provinces now wanted to establish commercial relations with the rest of the country. But the Burmese government did not permit further foreign commercial penetration. Now British were trying to penetrate into the main Burmese market, but the Burmese government authorities were not allowing to do them. The British merchants now began to complain of lack of facilities for trade. Now the British wanted some excuse to attack Burma. So the excuse given was the lack of facilities for trade and of oppressive treatment by the Burmese authorities at Rangoon. So this excuse was given by the British merchants to the British government and said that there are lack of facilities for trade, and the British merchants, they are oppressively treated by the British authorities at Rangoon. So this excuse was given by the Britishers. So by the time the aggressive Lord Dalhousie became the Governor General of India, he was determined to heighten British imperial prestige and to push British interest in Burma, because he wanted to expand into the Burma. So as an excuse for armed intervention in Burma, Dalhousie took up the frivolous and petty complaint of two British sea captains that the governor of Rangoon had extorted nearly 1000 rupees from them. So this was the petty complaint of two British sea captains, and these sea captains complained to Dalhousie that the governor of Rangoon has extorted from them 1000 rupees from them. Okay, so this was the reason which was given by Dalhousie. And in November 1851, Dalhousie sent an envoy accompanied by several ships of war to Rangoon to demand compensation for the two British merchants. Okay, so the British envoy, Commodore Lambert, behaved in an aggressive and unwarranted manner in the court of the King of Burma. Okay, so on reaching Rangoon, he demanded the removal of Governor of Rangoon before he would agree to negotiate. And he wanted straight away, to fire away the governor of Rangoon without any, because once the governor of Rangoon is fired away, then only the negotiations will start. So this was the demand which was kept by Commodore Lambert. So he started a blockade of Rangoon and attacked and destroyed over 150 small ships in the port. Okay, in the port he started the blockade of Rangoon and destroyed over 150 small ships in the port. So here is the image of map of Burma after war. You can see already the main ports are under the control of Britishers. So this, after the second Burma war, this territory was captured by the Britishers. So the Burmese government agreed to accept a British resident at Rangoon and to pay the full compensation demanded by the British. So this was accepted by the Burmese government, who agreed to accept a British resident at Rangoon. And the government of India, that is the British government of India, now turned on the screw and pushed up their demands to an exorbitant level, which was actually not acceptable. Now the Burmese government, they accepted whatever the British government was demanding from them, but now the British government pushed up their demands to an exorbitant level, which was not even acceptable, because any sovereign ruler would not accept this type of demands. So they demanded the recall of the new governor of Rangoon and also an apology for alleged insults to their envoy, that you should say sorry to our envoy whom you have insulted, and you should call back the governor of Rangoon. So this was the demand which was kept forward by the Britishers. So such demands could hardly be accepted by an independent government. So obviously the British desired to strengthen their hold over Burma by peace or by war before their trade competitors, the French or the Americans, could establish themselves there. So a full British expedition was dispatched to Burma in April 1852. And this time the war was much shorter than in 1825-26, and the British victory was more decisive. So here you can see the naval attack on the Burma. So the British now controlled the whole of Burma's coastline and its entire sea trade. So the brunt of fighting war was borne by the Indian soldiers, and its expense was wholly met from Indian revenues. Because the war was waged on Burma, but it was entirely paid on Indian revenues, so this was a burden on Indian economy. So there are many other political and economic questions over which Burmese king and British government clashed. So in this we are going to see the third Burmese war. Why did it happen? So there are many other political and economic questions over which the Burmese king and the British government clashed. So the British government humiliated the king in 1871 by armoring that relations with him would be conducted through the Viceroy of India, as if he were merely a ruler of one of the Indian states. The Burmese king wanted to establish, the relations with the queen directly, not with the viceroy, because the viceroy of India, because he was an independent ruler, and though he was subordinate to the British Empire, he directly wanted the relations with the queen of the English Empire. But he was humiliated by that you are not able to, you will not have any relation with the queen directly, you will have relation with the Viceroy of India. So that's why he was humiliated. So another source of friction was the attempt by the king to develop friendly relations with other European powers. So King Mindon died in 1878 and was succeeded by King Thibaw. So King Thibaw was the new king. So the British gave shelter to rival princes and openly interfered in Burma's internal affairs under the garb of preventing the alleged cruelties of King Thibaw. So now this time the Britishers interfered into the internal matters of the Burmese kingdom. So and they gave shelter to the rival parties, the revolters who were against the king of Burma. So the British thus claimed that they had the right to protect the citizens of Upper Burma from their own king. And Britishers were saying that the cruelties are being done by the King Thibaw, the new king, and he is cruel, and it is our responsibility to save the people of Burma from their own king. So in 1885, Thibaw signed a purely commercial treaty with France providing for trade, and Britishers cannot digest this thing that Burma has signed a treaty with France, because France was their rival in trade in the Asia. So the British were intensely jealous of the growing French influence in Burma. So the British merchants feared that the rich Burmese market would be captured by their French and American rivals. So only a pretext for war was needed. So this was provided by Bombay Burma Trading Corporation, a British concern which held a lease of the teak forest in Burma. So British now wanted a final excuse to attack Burma, and this excuse was provided from Bombay Burma Trading Corporation. And the Burmese government accused the company of extracting more than double the quantity of teak contracted for by bribing local officials and demanded compensation. So the Burmese government said that we have granted you this amount of teak to be taken away from our nation, but you are taking away more by bribing our officials. So here the Burmese government wanted compensation from the company. So the British government, which had already prepared a military plan for the attack on Upper Burma, it decided to seize this opportunity and put forward many claims on the Burmese government, including the demand that the foreign relations of Burma must be placed under the control of Viceroy of India. So now the British government started to demand the foreign relations of Burma under Viceroy of India. So this was one big reason, and the Burmese government could not have accepted such demands without losing its independence. So the Third Burmese War was fought. So its rejection was followed by a British invasion on 13th November 1885. The attack was launched on the Burma, and King Thibaw surrendered on 28 November 1885. On 28 November 1885, King Thibaw surrendered and his dominions were annexed to the Indian Empire soon after. So in this way, King Thibaw surrendered and Burma lost its independence and it became a part of British India. So that's all about the Burma War. And in our next lesson, we are going to study about the revolt of 1857, the important event which happened in our modern Indian history. And some people also called it as First War of Independence. So in our next lesson, we are going to study about it. And